welcome to episode 25 of the Zeens and Roger Crochet Vlogcast. I am Rosina. Hello, how are you? You okay? I'm reasonably okay. Slightly, suffering slightly with cabin fever because I haven't been out very much this week due to a poorly child. But we did go out for a walk along the river today because he's feeling a bit better. So it's okay, but it's weird how you kind of get out of practice with going outside. It's a bit strange, but I feel better for doing it. It's good. It's all good. And yeah, he's getting better, so I'm happy. That's a relief. Where to start? Where to start? It's half term, so it all feels a bit strange, and that's why every time I film upstairs, you know it's because the kids are off and it's half term. So it throws me out of whack. So I don't know, I should start by saying thank you very much for the nice comments that you left last time. Last episode I was a bit excitable and it transpires that many of you enjoyed that, so thank you very much. Don't expect the same today. I'm not in the same mood at all, but we shall see. See how things progress. Crochet news. Crochet news. We'll do crochet news, and by which I mean let's talk about magazines I've been in, just in case you were interested. And this episode's fair is Crochet Now magazine issue 25. That's my cushion down there. Yeah, it's nice. I haven't been in a magazine for a while, I don't think, so it's nice to have one arrive and drop on my doormat. It's very pleasing indeed. And I think, I haven't checked the dates, but I think next week there should be another one coming out as well, and I'm really excited about that one. And I literally every day I'm like, how long have I got left till that one comes out? How long have I got left? And I get very excited because I'm really pleased with the design that I came up with. Hopefully next episode I can talk about that one. I wish I had it in my hands already. It's one of those where you get really excited. I mean, yeah, it's lovely every time, but this the one that's coming out next for me it's exciting. But this one is a cushion, just a cushion pattern. It's very nice stitch pattern, but it is just sort of without sounding like a misery guts, it's just a stitch pattern made into a cushion really. And the stitch pattern is very nice, but it didn't feel like I was designing much. It kind of felt like, here's a stitch, you know, here's a stitch pattern I think will work with the brief. Here are some nice colours to go with it. Let's just make it into a square. It's not the same as putting lots of different elements of things together and actually doing a thing that is a proper design. Does that make sense? Without sounding like an ungrateful person. Do you know what I mean? But this cushion has actually got a really nice stitch pattern. It isn't just like a boring one. It's interesting. It's got I guess it's like interlocking crochet, which I'm intrigued by. And there is more interlocking crochet coming from me in a couple of months, and I've just sort of played with it a little bit, and I'm interested to see what else I can do with it. But it also looks quite scary and quite tricky, so we shall see. I'm just seeing if there's anything else that I can show you. I haven't earmarked anything in particular, but I mean, as always, there's a good mixture of patterns. Blankets and cushions. Oh! this was weird. I was flicking through the magazine and there was an advert for a different crochet magazine, presumably the same publication people, and called Crochet Essentials. I've never heard of it, but that's mine. That's my blanket. Bizarre. I guess when I sign the contract, if it's a sister magazine or whatever, if I sign a contract, then they can do what they like with it for a few months. It was just a surprise to see it. I got a parcel in the post day before yesterday. I knew it was coming, but it's exciting nonetheless. I got a parcel from Claudia of Crochet Luna. I've got some of the bits here, but not all. But I thought, and it's lovely. Thanks, Claudia. Lovely, because she has sent a pin for the granny cow, and this is going to be a prize for the granny cow, and a couple of, you probably can't see these, a couple of stitch markers. They are going to be one of the prizes for the granny cow. I've got I haven't actually mentioned on here, have I, what the prizes are, other than I said that it would be a few of my designs, pattern PDFs of my designs, and then I didn't mention it again on here, did I? I just mentioned it in the Granny Crochet Along blog post. And we have got a good old stash of prizes. I'm pretty pleased actually, and it's going to be exciting to send things out to the winners and stuff. But we've still got until the 15th of March to do gratification of things. So, and I'll talk about what I've been doing granny wise in a minute. But so Claudia sent these, and that's going to, I don't know how I'm going to divvy out the prizes yet, because I've got those, and then I know that Alison and Vivian of the Keep Calm and Carry On podcast are going to hand over a project bag to me when I go to Edinburgh, just sort of right, the timing is right at the end of the Granny Cow in mid-March, so they're going to hand over a project bag to me for a winner, and then another project bag will be sent out by a person called Laura of Homefire Ridge, I believe her Etsy shop is called, and you can find her on Instagram as Homefire Ridge. She makes wonderful project bags, so that's 2 project bags. And then I got an email from Quaylin the other day, Quaylin of the Quo podcast, which is the crochet podcast, which is relatively new, but I really enjoy it, and I'll put the links below because I want you to go and check him out. He's awesome. But he has said that I can have 2 patterns of his as prizes, and then and they are granny stitch patterns, so perfect for the granny cow. And then Faye from the Crochet Circle podcast is going to email a copy, an electronic copy of the Take 2 pattern book that she's got. And I think that's it, but that doesn't, I mean, that's a lot, isn't it? I'm well chuffed. It sounds like a good old wodge of prizes, and it means that, I mean, there are at least 4 categories, so 4 potential 4 potential chances of winning a prize. I know that I've said it before, one will be chosen from the chatter thread, and then one will be chosen from the finished object thread on Ravelry, and then one will be chosen on Instagram on the hashtag feed for, was it Granny Cow 18, I think the hashtag is. So if you're into Instagram, then that's the hashtag to use to enter your granny project over there. And one will be my overall favourite, the one I think is the nicest. and I will just choose that on a whim, depending on what mood I'm in and depending on what I'm looking for, which I don't know what that is. I will see one and go, I really like that, that's the winner. I don't know yet. There have been a couple that I've gone, I like that one, and there's one at the top so far. It doesn't have to be anything elaborate that's going to make me go, ooh, but just there'll be something about it. I don't know. So, yeah, that's it. I won't talk about the granny count over and over because there's not much else to say about it really. Not at present, other than that, keep going. We're doing all right. This is good. But going back to my parcel from Claudia, oh, it made me laugh so much because it's just like, what? How random can a person be? I saw it on the envelope with the customs doodah. It said, the first thing I clocked was it said, as a description of the contents, one of the top one is leggings. It's like, leggings? I was expecting like I was expecting the pin. That's what she told me that she was sending. And it said leggings. I don't know if you were able to see, look. She sent me leggings. I tell you, it's like I'm not wearing anything at all. They're beautiful. I've like, oh, do I have any leggings? I used to have about 20 billion pairs when I was about 15. It was all the rage in the mid-90s to have patterned leggings. So I feel like I'm a teenager again. And they were never this comfortable. My goodness. I don't know if you've got a good view then. But they've got colourful hexies on them. Colourful hexies. I haven't worn them outside. I'm not brave enough. But the boys have both given thumbs up. They say they're good. So, I mean, if it passes muster with them, and, you know, why wouldn't they? I'm just amazed at, like, literally, they are the most comfortable things in the world. I've not worn a legging for, I don't know, over 15, 20 years. Goodness. Thanks, Claudia. And then I got a couple of other pins as well for me. I'm assuming they're for me. I'm keeping them. A Crochet Luna pin and a Star Wars pin. Because did you watch 2 episodes ago? At the end, she's gone all out. Got a special pen. That's Kylo Ren. I won't show you everything. I don't even know if I should show you this because it's really embarrassing. Crush the Resistance, my Valentine. Honestly, I giggled for ages. That's awesome. And I got all sorts, and I got a lovely letter and blah 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 blah. Righty. Let's move on to the next thing, shall we? Oh, works in progress. God, I'm so annoyed about this one. Look how rough and humply bumply and messy that is. What happened is that I made all my squares. There's 40 of them, and it's supposed to be folded over to make a bag like that, but it looks rubbish. I do not have enough yarn of this to attach them together, so I have used a finer double knit to slip stitch them all together, but the stitches are so tight on the back that the shaping is pants. So at the moment I don't know whether I could probably stretch it and block it out, or I'm just going to have to undo it all and start again. I don't particularly... I don't know if I honestly think my stitches on the joints are too tight that I wouldn't be able to block it out. Sorry, I wouldn't be able to block it out. I don't know, but it just, the idea of undoing on doing that. I mean, it's probably it's only like an evening's worth of stitching. It didn't take very long at all. I did most of it watching one movie, so that's only like 2 hours. Not all, I didn't do it all in 2 hours, but I did most of it. But it looks ugly. In my head it's like beautifully flat. Can you see how blur it is? Now I could also block the squares. I think that would magically make everything better. Because it's wool, 100% wool, I think they would probably block out and be a lot neater. But I was being lazy, and the idea of blocking 40 squares didn't appeal in the slightest. So I just don't enjoy it when the image that you have in your head does not translate into the thing you've made. And I don't like that it always messes up at the end bit so that you put in loads of work already and then you mess it up. I know that probably just sort of giving it a bit more attention and a bit more care would be the ticket, you know, but it's impatience, isn't it? You sort of race to the end, and then because you've raced a bit too hard. I'm not a very good joiner. I'm not very good at joining. Never have been. It's like the crochet bit's done. The crochet bit's done. Okay, I'll just push, push, push. And then I mess it up, ruin it. I know just by looking at it the answer is to undo it all. I don't think blocking's going to fix anything. And then anyway, I had an idea. Well, my idea, I pinched it from somebody else. One of the things I've seen on Instagram, so I feel really close today. I'm like, oh, that's big. Oh, I don't know. One of the things I saw on Instagram, somebody's tagged their granny blanket. It's a, oh god, I can't remember who it's by now. The person I saw do it is Hello Jessimo, but it's a design by, are they called One Dog Woof? One Dog Wool? One Dog somebody or other? Who is it? They? One Dog? I didn't think to check. They've done a granny blanket with colour work to make it look like it's made of triangles. It's done in stripes, but the colour work means that you get a triangle effect. I want to make one. I know what colours I want to use, and I have found my inspiration for the colours from this. This is a card that Faye sent me when she gave me my my stash of Empire magazines to read. But I want to use these colours because I think they're awesome, and it's also given me the colour placement and everything I need. The only thing is that if I were to follow this pattern, this many triangles, I don't know how big it'll be, because I think that the triangles in the design are a bit sort of more squat. So I'm not sure if it would become this perfect rectangle shape, or if it would be a bit more square or what. No idea. I've no idea how big the triangles would be if I started, because I want to use Aran weight acrylic yarn, probably paint box or something, to get a really big blanket for my sofa. I'm not sure. But I thought it was a brilliant idea, just like it's there in front, it's ready. It's like a little chart for me to follow. Brilliant. So that would be all granny stitches in a granny stripe, but just changing colour every now and again to make the triangles. And I'm itching to do it. And it was only when I saw somebody else do it for the cowl that, yeah, I want to make that. And I was hovering to the sort of going over to the computer to place an order for all the yarn, but I haven't got time to make it. I'm not freed up crochet wise properly until March. So I've got like 3 weeks of sort of hunkering down. I've got a blanket to make and the yarn hasn't arrived, and I've got a shawl to make and the yarn hasn't arrived, and I've got to do that by the first week of March. It is the something of February. What date is it today? It's Thursday the 15th of February today. So in the next 3 weeks, I've got to make a blanket and a shawl. And I don't have the yarn. We shall see. And I don't want to make either of those things. I want to make that blanket. I could order the yarn now, couldn't I, and have it to look forward to. And then make a blanket. I don't know. I'm being quite restrained actually. Normally by now I would have ordered all of that. We shall see. Oh, Marcy, what are you doing? She's put her dirty paws on my next whip. Covered them in mud. I saw Hannah make some bags from the Cozy Crochet Cottage. I saw Claudia make some bags, sewing this is, and I was just like, I want to get on that. I want to make some bags. So following the tutorial that Claudia linked to for her project bag, I'm going to make 3, possibly 4 bags, but I've got 3 on the go. I'm at the stage where I've put some wadding stuff on, but this is one, and they need to be folded in half, and I need to sort of sew them up the sides, and I need to do the lining and stuff. They need boxed corners and blah blah blah. So, but just the sort of the actual, I've made the patchworky bits. This is one, and I think this one's destined to be a makeup bag actually, because at the moment my makeup is in a box and 2 little bags, and it all needs to sort of live in one place really, so I know where everything is. So that's going to be a makeup bag, and that's just all that fabric's not from the same place, but it goes quite well together, I thought. And then the next one is one it's very specifically my colour palette actually. It's brown and greeny blues. That's another one. I don't know, I'm just not really feeling that one, I have to say. It's sort of a bit desperate. Like, I didn't have any other coloured fabric. I wanted to use like a linen-y style fabric, but I just had some brown. I thought that would go. It's nice, don't get me wrong, I like it, but it's not sort of, I don't feel enthusiastic about that one. But you never know, once it's finished it might look amazing. But this one I think is the nicest. And this one is sort of like a linen-y fabric. I bought it on eBay ages ago, and I haven't been able to find, this is like the last scrap I had, and I haven't been able to find any since. It is, I think it was called something like Zaka fabric, Zaka linen, which is a style of sewing. I think it's supposed to be sort of Scandinavian styly. Zaka as a style of sewing, I suppose. Not sewing itself, but yeah, whatever. But that one's my favourite. But they've all got wadding rather than interfacing, which I've never used before, but we shall see. But they're all going to be drawstring bags. And I'll box their bottoms. And I might go and have a rummage, see if I can find some ribbons for their drawstrings. But I sort of only used for each one 4 different sorts of fabric for those patchwork areas, and now I'm wishing that I'd actually sort of gone for each square being unique colour and pattern fabric, because I've got loads of fabric, I've got enough to do that. But I sort of did it so it was all themed, but it would be nice to have a bit more of a hodgepodge rather than, I mean, it's 3 of each colour I think. And I did that for all of them, 3 of each colour on each side. Now I've done those bits, I know that the next stage I've already lost interest. I've done the pain in the butt bit, the really fiddly patchworky bit. I suppose that's the hardest bit, and now the easy bits to come, I'm like, move on to the next thing now. So yeah. covered in threads. I think the only finished object is this, which I showed on Instagram last week. It's a little purse made out of all my scraps, because last time I showed you my, I don't know, can you hear that? Somebody's been punched in the face or something. Excuse me. Sorry, I just had to go and see to a crying child because he'd been kicked in the face by the other one, who's obviously feeling better. Anyway, yes, this is my only finished object this week, and it is a granny stitch bag, and it is just made up really. I have lined it, put a zip in it, and do you know, I'm actually really pleased with this. I don't know why. I like all the colours together. The zip fits beautifully. The lining was a breeze, and worked out first time. And it was just sort of a really nice project to make. I kind of followed the tutorial I've got for the zippered purse, which is on YouTube, and using multiples of 3 I kind of chained what I thought was the same length as the zip, and then that's down here, the chain I made, and then I worked US single crochets, UK double crochets around once, and then began to make granny clusters in every 3rd stitch. And then once I had a round of grannies, joined it, and then worked up to the next row and just went round, joined it, went round. And it's kind of just sort of made itself really. When I did it, I used the Russian join, because I said, didn't I, that I had that bucket bag full of, oh, I should have gone and got it. It's in a tub now. I got myself like one of those sweetie tubs, like that big, one that had like celebrations in, or heroes or something like that, about that big, that deep. And I sat there one evening watching the telly and just wound all my scraps into little balls, and I put them in my sweetie tub. And they're all in there, and the lid just about fits on if I squish it down. And they are not going to become untangled and turn into puke anytime soon. Brilliant. So I just grabbed a handful of those, and yes, I kind of chose my favourite colours, and then I joined them all with a Russian join, just to see what I thought about the Russian join. And I probably won't use it again, I'll say that. It takes just the same amount of time as it would to sew in ends, as far as I'm concerned. That might be because I'm not practised at it. You might get quite quick, I suppose, if you've done it quite a lot. And by the end of it, I was quicker at making the Russian join than when I first started, but I still wasn't any quicker than I would be if I'd just sewn in my ends afterwards. And it creates a bulky yarn at the join. It does, however, create no waste, I suppose, because you're using every bit of it rather than doing any snipping after you've sewn in ends. Sorry. You won't be able to see, but like if I've joined here, I can feel that there is bulky, and at every join, if I were to do the same thing, it's just a little bit bulkier than it is sort of in other areas. I don't know how to describe the Russian join, other than that you loop them like that together and then you get a needle and you wiggle it through. Once you've looped them together, you wiggle it back on itself through the strands of yarn, and then you kind of not felt it together, but just sort of straighten out and try and wodge it together a bit more. I can't be bothered to do it again for any other project. But next I'm going to try the magic knot, which looks less bulky. And it's interesting because all of those people, including myself, that have never used the magic knot have poo-pooed the idea and gone, I don't trust that. And I'm definitely one of those people that looks at it and goes, that's gonna come undone completely. Everybody who's used the magic knot has utter faith in it and has said, nope, that won't ever come undone. It's brilliant. So I'm going to have to try that one next. And I've still got plenty of scraps left, so that will become another project. And this was going to become a giant blanket with all my scraps, but actually, as you can see, my blanket did not get very far, and I didn't even attempt a blanket actually. Far too big a project. I'm not sitting there and doing all those Russian joints for a massive blanket. You can do one. I will try a magic knot though. Maybe I should try a small project again like this first before I embark on something huge. But it just was interesting that people that hadn't used it went, no, and those that do use it go, yeah, honestly, you won't look back. So that was interesting to me. And also I started thinking about things like, you use yarn every day that you come across knots, don't you? You come across joins in that yarn and you use that. I've never ever gone, oh, there's a join, oh no, I must stop using this, or I will snip it off and then sew in those ends afterwards. I never do that, I just carry on crocheting. So if you have that kind of knot and you don't worry about that, why should you worry about a magic knot? I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna have a look at some point in the next couple of months and decide for myself, rather than dismiss it without actually using it. The Russian joint, I don't think any of these ends will budge. I don't think they're going anywhere. They are well and truly kind of squished together, and I can't see this coming undone. But it's not neat. So as you can see, you know, you've got the join in random places and halfway through clusters and whatnot. So unless you are going for that kind of look, I wouldn't recommend using it. And I'm assuming that the magic knot would be the same. It lands where it lands in your work as you do it, because obviously the idea is that you make a ball of yarn and join it all first, so you've got like a mishmash yarn ball, and then you work with it, so you've got no way of predicting where those joins will land. Yeah, so I think actually what I'm going to do at some point is write a blog post all about it, and if anybody has any other methods of joining, or do you in fact really like the process of sewing in ends? It's not I was going to say it's not unheard of. I haven't heard anybody say, I don't mind sewing in ends. Actually, my mother-in-law said it. And in fact, I'm going to give her my hexie blanket tomorrow when she looks after the children, because I'm going out. She has offered in advance, without any, no kind of hints from me. She sent me a message saying, have you got any ends to sew in whilst you're out? Yeah. So yeah, that's a good one. My hexie blanket will be passed over, and then yeah, I guess it's because she's not a crocheter maybe, so she doesn't have to do it regularly, that maybe it's not so much of a chore. But I would like to write a blog post all about how people, it doesn't sound that interesting, doesn't it? How do you sew your ends in? A blog post. But I'm sort of finding it more interesting than I thought, actually. God, Dullsville. I'll let you know, I guess. But it's sort of an ongoing thing. I would like to hear from you, though, if you've got, like, other than that, I know plenty of us just sort of go, oh no, I don't like sewing in ends. But if you do, let me know. And if you've got any other methods of how you do it, whether or not that's handing it over to somebody else, or yeah, magic knot, Russian join, whatever. If there are any others that are out there, let me know. Yes, yes. Where are we? Well, oh, did you know that, I think it's next week, I will have been doing this for a year. A whole year. It does not feel like it. Not at all. That's whizzed past. I don't like watching back videos particularly. I will watch like the recent ones back just to sort of go, just double check sometimes if I have talked about something, and or if somebody quite often says something, I'll go, what are they talking about? So I have to just watch it because I've already forgotten what I was going on about. But the first one, I'm too scared to watch, episode 1, because I know it's awful. And yeah, I'm embarrassed to watch it. But I've been doing it for a year, and I thought by now that I would be super polished and it would be brilliant. Everything I wouldn't sort of be umming and ahhing and repeating myself all the time. But I still do. Yeah. I'm quite pleased that I'm still going, but I'm still enjoying it. I think it's brilliant. I love it. So I'm going to carry on. Which should have been my crochet news. Other things I've left out in my crochet news were, it's just sort of chatting rather than real news things. I don't know when it was, but I think it was not last weekend but the weekend before. Faye from the Crochet Circle podcast set up a global hookup, and I think there were about 20 of us, and we all sat in front of our phones or tablets or computers and had a chat, and it was weird. We all sort of downloaded this app called Zoom, I think it was called Zoom, and did sort of something like a Skype chat, I suppose. And if you're interested, you can join in. Go over to Faye's blog or Faye's YouTube and check it out. It was really good. I was a bit squiffy because it was 8 o'clock at night or something like that, and Faye had said, get yourself a glass of wine and, you know, get yourself your crochet and come and have a chat. And so I was just like, all right then, I will. And so I'd had 2 glasses of wine, and I can't quite remember everything I said, but it veered off of crochet. It was supposed to be an hour, I think. We did 7 o'clock till 8 o'clock, but we were still talking at 8:45. And it was brilliant. There was people you might know. It was Faye, Claudia from Crochet Luna, and Catherine from Crafternoon Treats, Caroline from Crochet Cakes, and I know I will have forgotten people because there were about 20 of us, but lots of people from Instagram, and just sort of anybody who watches the podcast. If they want to any of the podcasts or whatever, and you're interested in crochet, you can join in. It was brilliant. We talked about all sorts of what everybody was up to, and then yeah, as I said, it veered off. We were chatting about other stuff towards the end. I really enjoyed it. It was great. But next time I don't think I'll have any wine, because not that I was like half cut or anything. I was not, but I was a bit worried that I was sort of loose. Not like, do you know what I mean? You know, it's like you get a bit relaxed and you get a bit cheeky. Anyway, but if you're interested, check it out. The next one is not this Saturday, but next Saturday, the 24th of February. And I think Faye is hoping to do them more regularly, so keep your eyes peeled. And yeah, brilliant. One of the things we talked about actually was yarn festivals, and if we were going to any of them and stuff. And I think they may have talked me into going to more than I thought I was going to go to. So I might well, I want to go to Yarndale this year anyway, because I've never been. But I was just worried about driving for 7 hours, because I think last time when we went to Lancashire on holiday in August just gone, it took us 7 hours to get to the Pendle area, and that's still like a half an hour away from Skipton. 7 hours. I do not want to do that drive on my own. It would be horrible. The M5 is a horrible motorway. The M6 is not pleasant as far as I'm concerned. I think they're constantly busy, as they would be on a sort of a weekend. That idea does not thrill me at all, and I'm not, I don't know. Yeah, the idea just fills me with dread. So I was thinking I might fly. I could fly to Manchester, couldn't I, and then get the bus. It might be worth doing that. I haven't looked into it, so I don't know the cost of flights or anything, but if it was like 50 or 60 quid, then that's not too much, is it? Not really. Not when it's Yarndale. I don't know. And then there was another one as well called, I think it was Wonderwall, which is in April, and it's in Wales. And that I looked on Google for directions, and it's 2 hours and 45 minutes. I could probably manage that and not hate every minute of that drive. If it's less than 3 hours, that's okay. I drive to Southampton and back regularly, and in the summer holidays that could take me 4 hours. It's horrible, but it's usually only about 2 hours and a quarter. Oh, anyway, sorry, it's boring. I was talking about driving and start falling asleep. These are just thoughts that are going through my head at the moment. And next on my list, sometimes I write lists and so I write episode 25 at the top, and then anything that comes into my mind, but things I could talk about, I write them down, and frequently things do not end up on the video, because I think that I've been talking too long, or when it comes to it I look at it and go, that's not relevant. Including this one, which is one of my points. American Skittles taste different. Normally I would ignore that sort of thing, but it's just so ridiculous that I'm going to mention it. And it's true, they don't taste this. It's almost like they've got all the different, I think there's, I've seen three different flavours of Skittles. The original red ones, some green ones, and some forest fruit ones. I don't know what the green ones are, if they're sours or not. Can't remember. But it's almost like in America they've got all of them and mixed them all together and put them in the red packet, because some of the ones you're expecting to be one flavour, that's a forest fruit one. That doesn't belong in the original packet. What's going on? So it's interesting. I wonder if they do the other flavours. What? The mind boggles. And that's it. I think. Because it is. I'll be back in 2 weeks' time. Thank you very much. Yes. Thank you. Cheerio. Bye.